Welcome back to your pocket-sized English lesson.
Today, we are going to stop the conversation killer that destroys 90% of English chats before they even really start.
Picture this. You are at a crowded house party on a Saturday night. The music is loud, you are holding a plastic cup, and someone you just met asks, "So, do you live around here?" You smile and say, "Yes, about 10 minutes away." Then, you stop. They look at you look at your drink. The silence is painful.
I used to hate that feeling so much. When I was first learning a second language, I felt like I was the most boring person in the room. I was treating conversation like a test, where I just had to answer questions correctly, and I didn't know how to do anything else.
But conversation is actually a game of ping-pong, and today you will learn exactly how to hit the ball back so the game never stops.
That metaphor of ping pong changed everything for me, Emma. Before I understood it, I viewed English conversations as an interrogation. Do you know what I mean by interrogation?
Like a police interview, where one person asks all the questions and the other person just gives short answers?
Exactly. In traditional language classes, the teacher asks, "Jock, what did you do on the weekend?" And I say, "I played football." The teacher says, "Good," and that is it. The interaction is finished. I got the right answer. But in real life, if I just say I played football and stop speaking, I have effectively dropped the ball. I have killed the conversation.
Because the other person now has to do all the work. They have to think of another question and another one and another one. It is exhausting for them.
It is, and eventually they just walk away to find someone easier to talk to. The core idea today is that your job is not just to answer. Your job is to answer and bounce the ball back.
So let's look at the first technique. This is the easiest one. It is the safety net for when your mind goes blank. We call this the mirror bounce.
The mirror bounce is perfect for beginners or for those moments when you are panic-stricken. The rule is simple. Whatever question they ask you, you answer it, and then you immediately ask, "How about you?" or "And you?"
It sounds too simple, Jack. Does that actually work in real conversation?
It works 90% of the time. Think about that party scenario again. Someone asks, "Do you live around here?" The conversation killer answer is, "Yes, about 10 minutes away."
And the mirror bounce version would be, "Yes, about 10 minutes away. How about you?"
Exactly. It completely changes the energy. Now, instead of staring at your drink in silence, the other person is speaking. They might say, "Oh, I actually live on the other side of town. It took me an hour to get here."
And suddenly you have a new topic. You can talk about the commute or the traffic or which part of town is better.
Right. The pressure is off you. You bought yourself 20 seconds of listening time while they answer. This is crucial because when we are nervous, our brains freeze. We can't think of clever questions. "How about you?" is a reflex. You don't need to think. You just say it.
I think the key here is speed, right? You cannot wait 5 seconds and then say it. It has to be attached to your answer.
Yes, think of it as one long sentence. Not yes, pause, and you? It should be yes and you. It flows together.
Let's try a couple of examples for our listeners. I will be the stranger at the party, and Jack, you use the mirror bounce. Ready?
Ready.
So, Jack, are you enjoying the music?
It's pretty good, actually. How about you?
See, that was natural. I would probably say, "Yeah, I love this band." Okay, another one. Jack, do you know the host, Sarah?
Yeah, we work together. How about you?
Oh, I went to university with her.
Perfect. You see how easy that is? You turned a dead-end answer into a bridge.
I love that. But Jack, sometimes "how about you" can get a little repetitive if you use it 5 times in a row.
That is true. You don't want to sound like a parrot. "I'm fine, and you?" "I like pizza, and you?" "I live here, and you?" That gets weird. That is why we need the second level of ping pong. This is for when you feel a little more confident. We call this the detail seeker.
The detail seeker. This sounds like being a detective.
A little bit. The concept here is that you need to listen for one specific word in what the other person just said, or in the question they asked, and ask about that detail.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Let's say someone says, "I just got back from a trip to Italy." The mirror bounce would be, "Oh, nice. I've never been. Have you?" But the detail seeker listens for the word Italy or trip. So you could ask, "Oh, wow, which cities did you visit?"
Or you could ask, "Was the food amazing?"
Exactly. You are taking one detail, the food, the cities, the flight, and asking for more information. This shows you are actually listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak.
This is really helpful for that awkward moment when someone asks, "How was your weekend?" I always struggle with this because usually my weekend was boring. I just slept and watched TV.
We all do that, and that is fine. But if I ask you, how was your weekend? And you say, it was quiet, I just watched a movie. And then you stop, conversation over.
So how do I use the detail seeker there? I am the one answering.
You can flip it. Answer the question, then ask a detail about their weekend. My weekend was quiet. I just watched a movie. Did you get up to anything exciting?
I see. I am seeking a detail about their life.
Or you can seek a detail about the context. Let's go back to the party. The music is loud. Someone says, I love this song. You could say, me too. Do you know who the singer is?
You are seeking a detail about the song.
Precisely. It shifts the focus away from me and you and onto the thing we are talking about. It makes the conversation feel deeper.
This actually solves a huge problem for me. Sometimes I worry that my English isn't good enough to tell long stories, but with the detail seeker, I don't need to tell a story. I just need to ask a short question.
That is the secret, Emma. The best conversationalists are actually the best listeners. If you can ask good questions, people will think your English is amazing, even if you only speak 20% of the time. You are making them feel interesting.
Before we move on to the third technique, which is my personal favorite for changing topics, I want to take a quick moment to say something to our listeners.
If you are enjoying this episode and you want to keep the ball rolling in your English journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are building a library of these pocket-sized lessons to help you survive real-world situations, not just pass grammar tests.
And hitting the bell icon means you won't miss our next episode, which might just save you from another awkward silence. Okay, Jack, let's talk about the third technique. We have the mirror bounce for safety and the detail seeker for depth. What is the third one?
The third one is called the experience check. This is the advanced move. You use this when the current topic is dying and you need to build a bridge to a new topic.
I need this one. Sometimes you exhaust a topic. You have talked about the weather, you have talked about how you know the host, and now the silence is coming back.
Right. The experience check uses a magic phrase, have you ever?
Have you ever? Why is this phrase so powerful?
Because it connects the current moment to past experiences. It opens up the person's entire history. Let's say we are eating snacks at the party. We are eating, I don't know, sushi.
Okay, we are eating sushi. And I say, this sushi is pretty good.
And I agree. Yeah, it's delicious. Now the topic of this sushi is finished. We have nothing else to say about this specific piece of fish. If we stop there, silence returns.
So I use the experience check. I could ask, have you ever been to Japan?
Boom. Now we are not talking about a snack. We are talking about travel, culture, holidays, airplanes. You just opened a huge door.
Or I could ask, have you ever tried making sushi yourself?
Excellent. Now we are talking about cooking, skills, disasters in the kitchen. The phrase, have you ever, allows you to take a tiny thing in front of you and connect it to a big story in the other person's life.
Let's try a few more context examples. What if we are talking about work?
Okay, we are complaining about a busy week. I am so tired from work. You could ask, have you ever thought about doing a different job?
That is a deep question.
It is, but it gets people talking. Or maybe simpler, have you ever worked in a different country?
What if we are talking about movies? We just finished discussing a superhero movie.
You could ask, have you ever met a famous actor? Or have you ever wanted to be in a movie?
It feels like a game. You're just looking for a thread to pull.
It is a game. That's why I call it ping-pong. You are waiting for the ball to come to you, and you are deciding how to hit it back. Are you going to hit it straight back with a mirror bounce? And you? Are you going to spin it with a detail seeker? Which city? Or are you going to hit a high ball with an experience check? Have you ever?
The beautiful thing is that none of these require complex grammar, and you is 2 words. Have you ever is a set pattern. You don't need to struggle with the past perfect continuous tense just to keep a chat alive.
Exactly. The biggest mistake learners make is thinking they need to be interesting. They think, I need to tell a funny story about my childhood to impress this person. No, you don't. You just need to be interested.
Don't be interesting, be interested. I have heard that quote before.
It is the golden rule. If you use these 3 techniques, the other person will walk away thinking, wow, Emma is such a great conversationalist. even if they did 90% of the talking.
I want to go back to the feeling of panic for a second. Even with these techniques, sometimes that fear of making a mistake stops us from speaking. What do you tell yourself in that moment, Jack?
I remind myself that the other person wants the conversation to succeed too. Nobody wants an awkward silence. When you ask a question, even if the grammar is slightly wrong, the other person is relieved. You are helping them. You are keeping the ball in the air so they don't have to pick it up off the floor.
That is a great perspective. You are actually being helpful by asking questions, not annoying.
100%. I remember once I was at a dinner party in France. My French was terrible. I barely understood what was happening. But I learned the phrase for "have you ever?" And I just sat there asking people, "Have you ever been to the US? Have you ever eaten spicy food?" People loved it. We talked for hours, even though my vocabulary was tiny.
You were the ping-pong champion of that dinner party.
I was, and it gave me so much confidence.
So we have covered 3 main tools today. Let's recap them briefly before we give our listeners their challenge.
Tool number 1, the mirror bounce. Use "how about you?" immediately after your answer to bounce the ball back safely.
Tool number 2, the detail seeker. Listen for one specific word, a place, a name, a feeling, and ask a what, where, or who question about it.
And tool number 3, the experience check. Use "have you ever" to bridge from a small topic to a bigger life story.
Now, we promised you a challenge to help you actually use this. Listening is great, but doing is better.
This is called the Rule of 3 challenge. For the next 24 hours, every time you have a conversation in English, whether it is with a tutor, a colleague, or even a friend online, I want you to hit the ball back 3 times before you let the topic change.
So if they ask, "How are you?" you can't just say "fine." You have to bounce it back. That's 1.
Then when they answer, you have to ask a follow-up question. That's 2.
And then 1 more follow-up or an experience check. That's 3.
If you can keep the ball in the air for 3 turns, you have officially beaten the conversation killer.
Try it out today. You will be surprised at how much more relaxed you feel when you stop trying to perform and start trying to play ping pong.
Good luck with your games of catch this week. Keep that ball moving.
We will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.